It's Monday, April 27th, and on Politically Unaware today, what do you know about the election? We'll be asking Bournemouth University students for their thoughts. Then, 2 Bournemouth University students will be joining us as we discuss their views on the UK general election. Plus, it's a new game and we love it. We'll be playing the Match the Quote to the Politician, and we want you all to be involved at home. So make sure you stay connected on Twitter and Facebook and let us know your thoughts. Hello, I'm Alice Sherritt and this is Politically Unaware, the show that brings you that little kickstart into politics within the UK. So the general election is only a week away and the predictions show that the polls, they're close. But we want to know, are you politically aware? And will you be even voting in this year's election? But again, we're not just a show on your screens today. You can also find everything we'll be speaking about online and on our social media. We want you to get involved and let us know, what you think about the elections, who you're voting for, what influences your vote, whatever your political views, we want to hear from you. So get in touch. You can find us on Facebook on our page Politically Unaware and of course Twitter at Punaware2015. We'd love to hear your questions and views on the 2015 election, so tweet us in before 1:10 for a chance for your tweet to be read out live on air. And again, it's not just me talking to you today. We're joined here in the studio by our lovely guests, Beth Harris and James Adolphus. Hi guys.
Hello.
They're going to be giving me a hand with all this boring old politics malarkey. So I just want to know, are you guys sort of politically aware or...?
Am I politically aware? I'd say no, not particularly.
No, in the middle. You need a bit more information.
Yeah. I'm one of those people, who just
okay,
not aware.
So I'm not the only one who finds all this stuff a bit confusing. So let's take a look at our 90-second manifesto summary for some more information. The UK general election is made up of multiple parties all competing for your votes to secure seats in Parliament. For the 2015 election, there are 6 main parties all receiving attention from the public: the Conservatives, Labour, Liberal Democrats, UK Independence Party, the Green Party and the SNP, the Scottish National Party. The Conservatives' main pledges are to get the economy back up and running. They're giving an extra £8 billion for the NHS by 2020. They want to extend the right to buy to housing association tenants, and they want a referendum on Britain's EU membership. For Labour, their main pledges are to balance the economy. They are also giving an extra £2.5 billion for the NHS, mostly by a tax on properties over £2 million. They want to raise the minimum wage to more than £8 an hour by 2019, and they want to freeze energy bills until 2017. For the Lib Dems, they want to balance the budget through cuts and taxes on higher earners. They also want to increase tax-free allowance to £12,500. They want guarantee education funding from nursery to 19 with an extra £2.5 billion. They also want 5 new laws to protect nature and fight climate change. For UKIP, they want a rapid referendum on Britain's membership of the EU. They want to control immigration with a point system, limit of 50,000 skilled workers a year and a 5-year ban on unskilled immigration. And they want to meet the NATO target of spending 2% of GDP on defence and aim to increase this substantially. The Green Party's main priorities are similar to that of the 3 leading parties. However, they have a main focus on creating renewable energy and controlling global warming through conversation with neighbouring countries. The SNP also have similar pledges to the leading 3 parties. However, they also pledge to build an alliance against the renewal of Trident. Despite the leading parties getting the most airtime, ensure you look into the manifestos of smaller parties, as the pledges do vary. Remember, it is important to research into the parties' manifestos before voting, so make sure you get online and do your research. So, as you can see, it's pretty difficult to tell the difference between what each party is pledging. It's difficult to differentiate amongst them. So, Beth and James, what did you think of that? Did that give you a bit of an insight?
It gave me a bit of an insight, but all of that information, just like if you go and research that information, I just find it so boring to look at.
It's quite samey. They're all saying the same thing, essentially.
They just all merge into one. I wouldn't say it was boring.
Oh, I would.
I'd just say that it just merges into one, and I think that's hard to take on board when you're looking at who is the best one to vote for.
So you both sort of say that you're pretty politically unaware. James maybe more so than Beth.
Absolutely more so.
Yeah, I agree.
Brilliant.
So, why do you think young people, some of the people that I've spoken to and researched for the blog and the social media stuff, they don't feel as knowledgeable about the election as, say, our parents or people who are a bit older than us who perhaps know a bit more. So why do you think the young people aren't aware?
I think it's a lot less prominent. It's just been thrown upon us this year.
Absolutely.
Yes, in the past 4 years, nothing's really been said, and then all of a sudden it's this year, so we need to know who to vote for. And I just don't think that we've been prepared for that in the right way. I think we should have been told about it, especially like before you're 18 and able to vote. Maybe like beforehand, you should be sort of taught at college just before you turn 18 about political parties and policies, and you do need to know about the history. We all know about the history, but we don't actually know the ins and outs of the history. We know Thatcher took in radical stuff, Churchill took us to war, but we don't actually know the normal economic policies or the healthcare policies that they use.
So James, it's down to education then?
Well, I would personally love to learn about these policies and the different parties through schooling, because I think in schooling you can liven up the teaching and make it really interesting for pupils to learn about, whereas on a computer, just stay on a computer with a load of lines about some of these policies, it's not enjoyable. And I think in the past also the lines between policies were less kind of the same, so that's why people enjoyed it in the past, whereas at the moment it's just kind of they're all the same, all the policies, and you just don't enjoy it as much learning about it. There's no differentiation.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of see the difference, and I think it is a big thing amongst young people, like we need to be much more engaged, obviously. So I think it does appear to be that younger voting generation that we're just not aware, basically.
No.
So I think it'd be important to have a look at what some other students think. We took a look around the university and we spoke to some students there, and we sort of thought it'd be good to see what they had to say, who they vote for and why do they vote for them. So we'll take a quick look at the students that we spoke to regarding the general election 2015. We've come to Bournemouth University to speak to students about how politically aware they feel leading up to the 2015 general election. How aware are you of what's going on in the lead up to the 2015 general election?
I think I'm quite aware because it's sort of everyone's talking about it. It's always on the news, it's on social media, you're constantly getting updates about it. So I'm quite aware, I think, of what's happening and what the different updates of what they're doing.
How aware are you of what's going on in the lead up to the elections this year?
I think I'm quite aware at the moment, but that's due to the nature of the course I'm studying at university more than anything else. I think if I wasn't doing web communications as part of my course, then I wouldn't be as informed as I am now.
Do you think if you were more aware, you might have registered to vote and got a bit more involved if you knew what was going on?
I think absolutely. I think the reason why a lot of young people don't take an interest and don't vote is because there's not enough aimed at them, and I think it's very difficult to differentiate between the parties.
I completely agree.
So, yeah, I think that's part of the reason why young people don't take an interest and don't vote in the first place.
I think in education a lot more can be done, particularly sort of at a primary stage, but you've got to be careful that you're not brainwashing children and telling them what the correct way is to vote. And when people do get to an age where they are a first-time voter, it is quite difficult for people to come to a decision on where they want to, how they want to vote. And that's why people probably, particularly I know I've thought this, people's parents are their biggest influence in that respect.
So interesting, that's what some more students thought about their thoughts on the general election. Do you agree with what those guys were saying?
I suppose I do agree to kind of a point with one of the first girls, Rebecca. She mentioned about social networks and they let kind of us know about it. Which is
but a little bit,
but not enough. That's what we're talking about.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, because I've looked online at social networking and they're all just really getting angry with each other and
throw insults.
They spend more of their time insulting each other than they do actually sort of telling policies. But the third guy, he sort of said what I mentioned earlier about they all just merge into one, and that's the most difficult part of it. They all say things that are relevant. So immigration is a big deal, but UKIP. In my head, all UKIP care about is immigration.
Yeah, when you think of UKIP, that's what comes to mind.
It is an issue, but it just depends on how everyone's going to tackle the different things.
I think one of the guys there as well, you might have noticed, said about it's important to educate kids into politics, but we don't want to brainwash them.
Yeah, exactly. I picked up on that. That is also very difficult, because I'm sure every teacher who's teaching politics will have their own view on it.
Yeah, but you can't
it will be very difficult to be impartial about it if that teacher is very passionate
But I
about
think it needs to be, yeah, you're right, but it also needs to be interesting. Like, people, you can take politics A-level, but why would someone want to take politics A-level? Because you just think, oh, that's boring. Like,
yeah, maybe it needs a bit of spicing up. I think young people, maybe we're like the new generation who's going to really kickstart politics and bring it into the modern day age. We're using a lot more social media these days. It is getting people involved because we're talking about it now, and you guys have things to talk about. So I think it's important to get sort of Twitter and Facebook involved when we think about like politics and the general election, which is what I'm going to do now. So we've had a few tweets in. As I've said, it's really important that you get involved on social media. So we're going to have a quick look at what people are saying on our social media sites. So David on Facebook said that he thinks politics is boring and that's why he doesn't want to get involved. So what would you say to David?
I think you need to care about politics. I think regardless of whether it's fun or not, it's important because it is going to affect your life.
But it's very difficult to get inspired about something which isn't enjoyable to look at.
It's going to affect your life regardless of whether you find it interesting or not. And I don't think you can have an opinion unless you vote.
Yeah.
Or unless you don't vote, like deliberately don't vote. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Not just because it's boring.
Yeah, and Maria in Southampton has tweeted in saying that she did find the TV debate a really interesting thing to watch. Did you guys watch the TV debate?
I watched it with my dad. It got very heated.
I mean, I did watch the first one and I did find it really interesting, but especially the second one. David Cameron and Nick Clegg weren't even there, so I just I didn't watch it because I thought ultimately they're one of the three strongest parties, and if they're not there, what's the point?
So manifestos and all, this is pretty boring stuff, isn't it? So we're going to play a nice light-hearted game, and it's all about the funny words from the big politicians, because honestly, some of the stuff they say is just ridiculous. So this is the game. You've each got a bat, which is the face of each leader from the Conservative, Labour, Lib Dem and UKIP. I will read the quote, and these guys are going to guess which politician said what. So let's get going. So, who said this? You have the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk.
I'm going to go for this guy.
This points James, it was Nigel Farage.
Oh, come off it. Not happy about that.
So who said this? I may be new to this game, but I think I asked the questions.
Oh, that's...
James is right again, it was Ed Miliband.
Are you joking?
Yeah. Why did you not think it was?
Because I thought, like...
He's a bit full of himself.
Yeah.
That's a classic Miliband.
I'm disappointed in myself.
So, who said this? Do I get up every morning and ask, am I doing the things that I believe in? And am I doing them for the best possible motives? Yes. Unambiguously, yes.
Definitely.
Do you know what? You're both wrong again.
Wait, can I...
No. There's no second serve here. That was... Who do you think it was?
Wait.
If you could have another go.
Maybe this guy.
Clegg.
Yeah, it was Clegg. Okay, so who said this? The Euro Titanic has now hit the iceberg and there simply aren't enough lifeboats to go around. Oh, if you didn't get this, Beth's obviously right. It was Nigel Farage.
Yes, it was obviously Nigel Farage.
It's about the Euro. It's about the Euro.
Stupid.
I'm 2-1 up, mate. Let's sit back down.
Yeah, but the scores of the doors are James is winning 2-1, so you've got to try and pull this back.
I'm pulling it back. I can't believe you got that one wrong.
Okay.
I told you, I'm politically unaware.
So, who said this? Look at me and think of Schwarzenegger.
Oh. This guy.
You're both right. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought that was Farage.
Because he's the boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's DC.
Okay.
He is Arnie.
Okay, so
let's do one more. Come on.
Who said this?
You want to get it?
Ready?
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. My head spins. One moment I'm told I'm too edgy, and then people say I'm too angry. Then that I show too much passion. Make your minds up. You're both wrong. Wait. No.
This guy.
Yeah, it was Clegg. It was Clegg. Because earlier,
that did not sound like
he's
Clegg.
kind of known as a bit of a weakling, isn't he? So I wasn't sure about that. Now this one's pretty intense.
Right.
It's simply this.
Pretty intense.
I am the heir to Blair.
Oh, well then that's obviously this guy.
No, it's not.
But he's Labour, isn't he?
No, I'm afraid it was David Cameron.
Oh, it must have been because he was the heir to Blair, wasn't he?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Well, that was a great fun game. I hope you guys found that quite interesting.
I won.
And unfortunately, we've reached the end of our show today. Thank you to my guests, Beth and James, and of course to everyone for watching at home. I hope that we've helped with some of those worries about the general election, or maybe even helped you make your decision. And whatever you think, make sure to remember voting is on Thursday the 7th of May and your vote counts. I hope you don't feel politically unaware, and it's goodbye from us, and thank you so much for watching.